Good evening. Welcome to On Another Level Book Club's Author's Babble, where we're getting up close and personal with author Zenora Knight, author of The Curse of the Bailey Women. Miss Knight, welcome and thank you for joining us on this evening.
Honored that you have me on tonight.
Okay. Can you turn your volume up a little bit? I think we are
You can't hear me,
we can hear you very slightly.
Javian? Okay, well, good. How about now? Is that better?
Yes, that's a little better.
Javian, Jay, can you turn the volume up a little bit? How is this?
That's better.
Okay.
So, Miss Knight, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Okay. Where do I start? Zenora Knight, and I was actually born in Newark, New Jersey.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I was born in Newark, New Jersey, and grew up in a small town called Chase City, Virginia, raised by my grandparents, which was awesome. I can't tell you how awesome it is to be raised by your grandparents. I went to school at Virginia State University, moved to New York after a couple of hiccups along the way, and been here ever since, hoping to leave soon. Worked 30 years with the Department of Social Services doing child protective and a whole host of a lot of work. Fell into becoming an author by, wasn't never intended, but fell into it. And that's been quite an experience.
Okay. So when did you first realize you wanted to be a writer?
I'm still trying, I'm still struggling with that,
Okay.
believe it or not. What happened, like I said, it was never on my list to become an author. You know, some people say I want to do this before I, leave this earth. It was never one of those things. It was just that one day I was sitting at work. Yes,
Uh-huh.
I was sitting at work. And it was okay because I did emergency services, which is the type of job that if you had a case that did child protective, and
Okay.
we responded to cases as they were called in. So if you didn't have anything to do but to wait for a case, it was okay to do whatever you needed to do. You just had to be ready to respond.
Yeah.
So I figured that I would spend some time typing because I work nights, so I wanted to hurry up and be able to type much faster. So one day I was sitting at the keyboard and I just started typing just different lines, and then I started develop the story developed. So that's how I wrote this story, the Curse of the Bailey Women. And it took
Wow.
actually 9 years to write this because I wasn't serious about it until the last few years of
Mhm.
years that I said, this sounds great. And I started sharing it with different people, and they was like, you're writing a story, and I was like, oh wow, so yeah, so it's a story. So that's what.
9 years. Okay. So where did you get the information and the inspiration for this book?
Okay. So what happened was, growing up in the South, you hear a lot of different tales, and I took things that I heard and different experiences that I had, and I embellished upon it, and I started twisting it up, and then this great story developed. So a lot of it is, not it's not my story, but just different myths and things that I heard. And that's one of the reasons why I can say that I truly believe that characters tell their own story.
Mm-hmm.
I Once I started writing, it just took over, and I just gave them freedom of speech, and it just, I started with one character, and this one character, one became stronger than the other.
Uh-huh.
So let's just go with this and see where it goes.
Okay. So the Curse of the Baby Women. Give us a teaser. What is it about?
This is about life, just life.
Okay.
I had one of my readers summed it up, which I had never thought about it, and he said that it touches upon everything that a person could ever experience, all aspects of life. There's a spirituality to this. There's a family values. There's death. There's happy times. There's sad times. There's betrayal. There's lies. And I once went to a book club, and they said it was too many. They thought it was like too many characters. But
Okay.
when we think about it, our lives, we have a lot of people in our lives. It's not, that, it's just not centered just on a few, that's enclosed. It's just about all aspects of a life that you could possibly think of. There's a lot of twists and turns. But the Curse of the Bailey Women is about these women from a little small town called Fort Mitchell, Virginia. It does exist.
Okay.
These women thought that they had a family curse on them, a generational curse, that they weren't entitled to happiness or true love, or they weren't entitled to have a good man or someone to really, love them based on what an ancestor had done, and but they could never prove because they could never trace his ancestors. So it was a myth, but they truly believed that, and that's what they based their lives around. Except the main character said, "Nope, I'm not buying into all that. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to move and go away with my childhood sweetheart and live my life." I don't want to give away too much.
Okay. Right. Right. You don't want to give away too much. So a lot of times writers take from their past experience. Is there anything in the book that's connected to your past or uh, family members or friends?
Like I said, just different stories that I heard growing up. When you're in the South, you just observe. You have to stay in your lane, as they say, or stay. If you got out of your lane, it was like you were out of school, was the word that they used. Get back in school. So you're out of school now, which meant that you're getting out of your child, you're out from becoming a child, you're getting into adult business. So I used to always eavesdrop and hear little things, but not always, you had to keep your mouth shut or you get the
Right.
backbone smack in your mouth. And and I just embellished upon it. But no, I did use some of the names of, of my relatives that had passed, like Beulah was my great grandmother name,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not her story. And Maybud, these are people that I loved and adored. I got to know all of my grandparents, on both sides of my family, which was a blessing for me. But I just basically embellished these little stories that I heard, and I put a lot of twists and turns, and I made a lot of it up. So it's fiction.
What type of support do you get from your family and friends? You just now starting your first novel. Do you get positive critiques? Are they surprised that all of this comes from you?
It's been positive,
Okay.
and a lot of them said, when I first wrote it, I had an uncle that said that he thoroughly, it was important to me when I first wrote this book and when it was published, I had to send it out to all my aunts and uncles on my, mother's side, my maternal side, because I knew that if they approved it, then I was good.
Okay.
I sent it to them and they were all happy. One uncle said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my aunt was like, "Oh wow!" They were like, "Oh, I can't believe that you." They were surprised that I wrote this because I don't want to say that I'm attention deficit, but as a child, I played a lot. They never thought that I would sit down and write a book. Yes, I went to college. I finished college, but for me to sit down and to actually write a novel was quite surprising to them. And then when I knew I had captured another audience, because I really wrote this for, I think, people more like in the late 40s, I would say, and to the, elder people. And then I gave it to my son. And when he read it and I could make him laugh, I knew I was on to something. And then when
Okay.
it was published and his friends liked it. And it wasn't because I was his mom and they knew, although they knew, that
Mhm.
I had to, they had to like it. And the reviews I gotten has really been great.
That's great.
And
So
about the
publishing.
same, go ahead.
Publishing. Are you self-published? Did you go through a publisher company? Tell us about that process.
That's been a journey.
Okay.
And I would say to anyone who think about publishing that you really have to do your homework. I did what you call co-publishing, which it's supposed to be, from my understanding, a step above self-publishing.
Okay.
And that's when you have a publisher that's willing to publish a book, but they're willing to like split the cost with you. But the my experience hasn't been the greatest because I didn't get the support that I thought. Although my publisher, I'm not going to say he had been all bad, but I didn't get what I was expecting from him, like the more of a support. But nevertheless, I got published and I did learn a lot from him. But it's called self-publishing. And the only thing that it did help me with is that a lot of the contests
Uh-huh.
that they enter, a lot of them they won't take work from a published, from a self-published someone, and then a lot will. So you have to weigh the difference to see what's good for you, but you don't really have that. You still have control, but if you self-publish, you still have, I guess, more control as opposed to having as opposed to being
Right.
published.
So if
But
you could go back and change anything in this process, what would you change?
I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
It's been a wonderful experience because when I retired 2 years ago, actually working 30 years with the county of Westchester, I was always concerned about retiring. It's like, what am I going to do? You know how you hear that if you retire, you have nothing to do, all your illness is going to come upon you and you're going
Right.
to die. So I was like, I don't know if I want to retire, but at the time that I had enough, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like miserable going to work, and I said, I can't do this to all the young people coming in because they need to have a positive experience and not to hear me coming to work like dragging. Oh, I don't want to be here. I can't wait to go home and get in my bed. So
Right, right.
I had to leave. And at the time that I decided that it was time to go, I had this to hold up my book and say, I'm ready to go. This is a new chapter in my life.
Motivation.
It's I wouldn't change anything because it's all been a learning experience.
Okay. So do you have any other books coming? Are you working on anything?
The pressure is on. The pressure is on, and if you read it, you'll know why.
Okay, okay. So this book actually has the possibility of being a series by any chance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
My
yes.
interest. Okay, okay. That has piqued my interest.
The book is going to be the sequel to this book is going to be called Dirty Hands.
Ooh, dirty
If
hands.
you read it, you'll know why. And the pressure's on because I've had the blessing of attending a lot of book clubs. Not a well, a few. They're all important. I love them dearly because I've learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the people who have read the book, they always say, when is the next book coming out? We're waiting. When's it coming out? So the
Oh,
pressure has been on me, and I had set a date to August. I said, well, maybe it'll be published by August, but I'm sorry to disappoint people. It's going to be a little bit longer. um, I don't know. The characters are struggling a little bit.
uh-huh.
Certain people want to take over, and I don't want them to, but I may have to let them.
Okay, okay. Oh my gosh, now I can't wait to get my hands on the book. So, as an author, as a writer, what's your kryptonite? What's the one thing that kind of pulls you away from writing when you know you should be really focusing on the project?
What's the one thing to do? What?
Pulls you away from your writing project?
Everything. The phone, being nosy, want to know what's going on, calling my children. Well, okay, what you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
Everything. But you have to. One thing that I do know, and I think Walter Mosley says it in his book. I forgot the name of the book, but he writes a book about how you have to write your book in a year. You
Uh-huh.
leave everything alone, let the grass grow, let the dishes pile up, do whatever
Yeah.
you have to do, just write.
Uh-huh.
That's true. You have to write every day, no matter what. You have to pin something, whether it's you just have to write. It's not even if it's not about the book, you just have to write. And I do believe that you have to write every day. You have to be disciplined, and I'm not as disciplined as I should be, but I'm learning.
Okay.
I'm
So
learning.
you said in this second book that you're writing, the characters are taking over. What do you mean by the characters are taking over?
Well, and on the back of this book, I do say, that you have to get characters, and I truly believe this expression. The characters have to, you have to give them freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Let them, you have to go with them and not hold them back. And that's one thing I can say I don't have any formal training, as becoming, author, but I think that there's one character, Pastor Tisdale. He's trying to take over this book, and I don't want him to. I want the main character, Ricky West, to come out and
Mm-hmm.
this Pastor Tisdale is trying to take over, so I may have to flow with him a little bit and see where Ricky goes. But Ricky West needs to come out.
Seems like he could probably have his own series himself.
I think so.
Okay. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Called This or That. And while we're playing this game, I'm going to ask the viewers to go ahead and submit your questions because we'll be chopping it up with the viewers afterwards. So I'm going to give you 2 items.
All right.
And you'll have 5 seconds to decide which item you prefer. Okay?
I'm ready.
This or that. Are you ready?
Yes.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know about Hulu.
Okay. Fast food or homemade food?
Homemade. Unless I'm cooking, as long as I don't have to cook it.
I get that a lot. As long as I don't got to cook it homemade all day long.
Cooking a lot these days, though.
I know. Okay, I'm going to say this. I hope I'm not being offensive.
No, come on.
Beer or vodka?
Being a what?
Beer or vodka?
Oh, beer, vodka. Vodka. I don't like beer.
Girl. That's my girl. I love. Oh, okay, I'm letting too much out. Sorry. Late night or early mornings?
Late night.
Okay. Manicure or pedicure?
Pedicure. I have pretty toes.
Oh, okay.
Toes.
Do you like the cold or the heat?
Heat.
Oh, okay.
Hot.
Lastly, treadmill or bicycle?
The bicycle.
Okay, bicycle. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to our viewers and see if we have any questions for you. Let's see, what do we have? Any questions? And while we're waiting on questions to come through, tell us where our audience can find or get your book.
My book is available on Amazon, and you can always find it at The Curse of the Bailey Women. It looks like this. I actually won the award through the Royal Dragonfly for the cover, because the cover was actually designed in Europe. But so also on my website, ZenoraNight.com, you can that's going to actually take you to Amazon, but you can get on Amazon, or they can inbox me. I have several copies at home. I'd be glad to send it out. Whatever works.
Okay, we have a question from Ms. Latice Phillips. What method of publishing will you use for Dirty Hands?
A good question. I'm thinking about self-publishing, although I have to tell you, when I first, before I published The Curse of the Bailey Women, I went with By Universe, which also is a form of self-publishing. So I actually have a contract with them that's pending. So I really need to use that as well, because I actually paid for a full publishing package and decided not to use them, because actually my sister, I blame her every day for this. She found the publishing company that I'm with, Lexington Ford. But like I said, I'm not going to put him down. I didn't use iUniverse because she said, oh, no, go with this because it's a smaller publishing company. You get more attention. Well, I got attention, all right. But I think I need to really use my, contract with iUniverse, only because they have the money out there.
Definitely.
We'll determine, but you really have to do your homework.
Good advice. Okay, we have another question from Ms. Phillips. Have you given yourself a deadline in completing the book?
I did. It was supposed to be in August of 2020, but no, it may be a little longer. I don't want to lose my readers because, like I said, I've done a lot of book clubs, and they're asking me, every day I hear something about when is the next. We're waiting, but it may have to extend. But I have nothing to do now, so I really do need to sit down and write, stay off the phone, do what I got to do. So I said August, but it may be a couple of months after that. We'll see.
Okay. Do you have any quirky writer habits when you're writing? Things that you gotta have?
Glass of wine?
Oh.
Maybe.
I like that. Okay. We have another question from Miss Deanna Dillard. What's the extended release date for the sequel? Oh, they can't wait for it. They cannot wait for it.
I wish I knew. But You know,
They're pushing you to give a new deadline.
it has to actually be before 2021, I would say.
Definitely.
It has to be for the end of the year. That would be unfair to my readership, and I really need to. And actually, being as old as I am, I really have to get books out there. If I'm going to get them out there, I have to get it done.
Okay.
Because time is ticking.
Time is ticking and time is money.
We got to get it done now.
Next question. Have you considered converting your book to an audiobook?
I'm actually working on that.
Okay.
It's an audio book, you said, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I am actually. I did sign a creative. I forget the full name, but I've been actually working for a young woman out of Maryland for that. And the thing of it is, you have to hear that voice. And also, I have a cousin in California, Robert Honeyblue. I don't know if you're listening. He has a recording studio, and he's said that he's also sent me some auditions. And you have to hear the right voice. I don't think that I can read it myself and hold the attention, but I haven't. I'm working on it. The voice hasn't been there. I've been getting like auditions, and if you know someone if someone's out there and think they can read it and want to inbox me, I'll be glad to listen and send them a book and let's get it going.
That's great, guys. So if anyone's out there with a nice voice, send in your information. So with you having so many characters in this novel, would you have to get various people to read the different characters? Or you contemplate just having one?
I think so. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I don't think so. I think one person can read it. There's really not that many characters. What it was a backstory. In the last book club I did, this one woman, which I really was a very avid reader, was very passionate, and she loved the book. But I went there, and she had all the characters named, and a lot of them were the back characters that wasn't that important, but needed to be in the book in order for you to know the story about the myth and how this happened. But she had them all written out there, so I don't want to scare anybody away and said, "Oh no, it's too many characters." Not. This book is actually it's pretty thick, but I can tell you that it's actually 452 pages.
Okay.
It's an easy read. It's easy. Most people said they read it within 24. I've had people say they read it in 24 hours. I'm like, wow, what were you doing? I get it a lot, but they said the average of 24 to 3 days that people are able to read this book. Most people say they can't put it down. So it's a good read. I have to say so myself.
Okay. We have another question. Amazon. Oh, actually, it's just a suggestion. This is Miss Phillips. She says Amazon offers a service, and you can hear each reader's voice.
Okay. I didn't know that.
That's good to know. Thank you, Miss Phillips.
Yeah, thank you. I have to look into that.
If we don't have any more questions, I'm going to ask that you share with our viewers one more time the best way to get your book and the best way to reach you.
Okay, the best way to I can also, Zenora Knight is actually my middle name.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it is. I never knew why. I didn't get the opportunity to ask my mother why she named me Zenora. I wish I had, but I like the name, but that's my middle name. My name is actually Francine Knight, and I'm on Facebook with Francine Knight, and Zenora Knight is my author page. But they can reach me through ZenoraKnight.com, or they can reach me on Facebook, Zenora Z Knight at gmail.com, or I'm also on Instagram. And being that I'm not that savvy with social media and everything, but they can reach out to me. I'm there.
Well, make sure you check all your social media accounts, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people inboxing you for information. So if you're watching us today, make sure you go to Amazon and get a copy of The Curse of the Bailey Women. And we are looking forward to Dirty Hands coming out soon, hopefully within the next few months.
Thank you.
Miss Knight, thank you for joining us on this evening. It has been a pleasure. And before you leave, we actually have one more question. Do you ever experience writer's block?
I do. Yes. And that's why you have to push through it, and it's like painful just to keep writing anyway. And you just have to write, even if you're not writing about whatever you're writing or want to write, your project, just write something.
Right.
just try to write something and until it clicks. And I'm experiencing that now
Uh-huh.
a little bit, but you got to keep pushing forward.
Okay. Well, it has been a pleasure talking with you
Oh,
on
can
this.
I say one more thing?
Sure, definitely.
Actually, I'm on Goodreads also.
Oh, really?
Goodreads author, yeah,
Okay.
on that. And I really appreciate all that you do because it's so important. And I just want to say one more thing. The best thing the best gift to an author or any author is to read the book and leave a review.
Will do.
So important.
Okay, so get Miss Nice book, guys, and after you read it, leave a great review on Amazon or Goodreads. You say right? Goodreads.
Yes, I'm on Goodreads as well. Forgot about that, but I am.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us again.
And stay safe, everyone.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this evening. Join us next week when we will be visiting with D.A. Ross, author of The Day Hate Stood Still. Thank you for joining us. And remember, reading gives us someplace to go when we have to stay where we are. Stay safe, stay put, and stay in. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.